The assault on women by Donald Trump continues every way, shape, and form. It wasn't enough for him to put 3 more justices in the United States Supreme Court that ultimately took away a woman's right to choose, taking away a constitutional right that had been enshrined for over 50 years. First time in history, a right once given by a court was then taken away. But that's not enough. And now he's going after the aspects of the Biden administration that tried to preserve whatever was left of a reproductive right already in tatters for women. In this case, the EMTALA law, the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, which Joe Biden used successfully to give guidance to federally funded doctors, meaning really all doctors, that in the case of an emergency, they were allowed to prescribe an abortion. But Donald Trump doesn't like that. And so he wants to pay his debts to the ultra right wing and Christian right and get rid of abortion any way, shape, and form that he can. So he's rescinded the EMTALA guidelines, which were up at the United States Supreme Court. And at the exact same time, in a coordinated attack, a right-wing fake group of Catholic doctors, I don't know if they're fake Catholics, but they're certainly a fake group, brought a case in the Middle District of Tennessee to try to challenge the EMTALA guidelines. They immediately dismissed the case because they knew the Trump administration was going to do them a solid. I break it all down for you in a brand new podcast that I'm doing on the Meidas Touch Network called, wait for it, The Intersection. Trump today announced that he's reversing the policy of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that interpreted EMTALA, the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, which is the major bulwark that Biden used to protect women after the Dobbs decision in 2023. That EMTALA, according to Trump, in giving guidance to hospitals that take in federal funds, that they will not be able, and they should not consider using an abortion, even if the life of the mother is at risk. Let me let that land on the table. Donald Trump is paying off his debts to the Christian right and other anti-abortion groups by now reversing the guidance for EMTALA, putting doctors under the gun and under the sword of Damocles if they decide under their Hippocratic oath that they have to do no harm and they have to support women and make sure they don't die by giving them an abortion. They could be facing prosecution. They could be facing cutoff of federal funding. And this is because at the Supreme Court a year ago, almost today, they sent back to lower courts in Iowa and other places, rather than make a decision about EMTALA and whether it is proper statutory guidance or not by the then president. That's still making its way up back to the United States Supreme Court about whether a woman has a right to expect that a doctor to save her life is going to give her abortion or not. And this was an orchestrated attack because Trump also knew that there was a phony Catholic group. I don't mean phony Catholics. I mean a group that's phony that was created just to bring a lawsuit. Catholic doctors bring a suit in the Middle District of Tennessee challenging the EMTALA guidance of Biden. And as soon as the guidance changed under Trump, and as soon as the American Civil Liberties Union intervened in the case, right, then they got what they wanted. They dismissed the case because they didn't want to risk making bad law. A bad law for them, I mean. And so it's unceasing. It's unending. So if you're a woman or a person like me who supports women and you can get right with the MAGA Republican continued assault on women to make them second-class citizens in 22 states in this country, okay, well then you have to justify that at the time that you go and vote at the polls. But if you can abide that, then you know what to do with the midterm elections. We're talking about action here. What can you do? That's what you can do. Work on your mail-in registration now. So in states, including red states, that you can make sure that you can vote the way you want to vote. Do it now, so you're not under the gun at the time of the election. Work on voter registration in your state, so that we don't sit out the midterms. Midterms are usually low turnout affairs. Only the super voters vote, and we don't want to. If we're not motivated to win back the House and the Senate when it's up for grabs in the midterms and do a referendum of a down thumb on Trump at this midterm, I don't know what will ever motivate us. And of course, that also sets up not only the return of checks and balance by giving the Democrats the Senate and the House, which is looking good at looking at the polling, because independents that got Donald Trump elected are abandoning him with reckless abandon, if that's the right phrase. That's going to help. If we can't win this midterm, we should put ourselves out of business as a party and as an American constitutional republic. So that we got that attack on women and the attack on the Federalist Society that's broken out in plain sight. Yes, I love doing my shows with my co-anchors, but once in a while I like to just no holds barred, no smoke or sunshine, and have my own show. And I have it now. It's called The Intersection on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the Meidas Touch Network. And then we bring it over here as well for a rebroadcasting, if you will, at the intersection of law and politics, so that we're one-stop shopping on Legal AF. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Meidas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.